Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. Here we go. The tasting of Bamboo Saber 2025 next to a fully handmade pan-fired Erme green tea made by Master Wong Ming, who has been awarded multiple awards. You know what? I'll try and scroll a list of all the awards he's won, but he's got Cultural Intangible Heritage Awards. He's considered one of the greats, the masters, the living masters for making this traditional Tong Sichuan Erme green tea. If you don't know about this style of tea and you have not watched the video in China, then please do either watch it after this one or go watch it before you watch this video so you really get a sense of how precious this tea is. And if you watched it, I hope you enjoyed that video. Wow, that was a long edit. It took me about 6 days of editing, so I'm a bit wiped out, but I hope you enjoyed it. And you got to see the gardens of Wong Ming, and you got to see him make the tea, and you got to learn more about him. So we're going to do my first proper tasting of this tea, because after the pan frying process, which if you watch the video, you will have seen an amazing, mesmerizing performance by Master Wong Ming. We did taste a little bit, but it was, he said, look, it's not really ready for tasting now because it's just fresh out of the wok. You need to let it settle. So we did a tasting, and it was really a very, very delicious tea, but I could taste it had a lot of that wok in it. And so it's now been left for a month and a half to just settle. And now I'm going to have my first proper tasting of this tea. So I'm very, very excited. But before we do that, I really do want to explain this tea to you. This is our 2025 Bamboo Saber. This is from March 2025. It's from the Lao Tren Cha variety. So it is from the, those old heirloom varieties. It is from Erme in Sichuan in China, of which you are now familiar if you have watched the video, and elevation I think is about 1,000 meters. Now, processing on this. So we talked a lot in that video about machine made versus handmade, and I explained to you that less than 1% of the tea that's available from this area, the bud green tea from Erme, is fully handmade. I did obviously try to do a deal, find fully handmade. When you're searching for that 1%, anybody who's got it is clearly charging a lot because it is so different on the market from anything else. And so, unfortunately, I wished, and you saw me like pulling my hair out in the video, I wish that I could have gotten some fully handmade. It was just the price points were mental, right? Which is why this is so precious. So what I have here is half machine, half handmade. So we did a lot of searching, and I did a lot of blind tasting. This one, I think, is just a knockout tea. It's started by machine, so it's been withered, like you saw. It's gone through the shaching machine, the rolling machine. It's gone through a little bit of the juk machine, but it's then been finished in pans. So it's half handmade. So this is very unusual as well in Sichuan, but we managed to find some half handmade. When I tasted it, I really loved that warmth, and it is not a raw tea compared to a lot of the teas out there. So first things first, we're going to taste this tea just to sort of set the marker of what a great Zhu Ye Qing can be. And I'm going to put, I don't know, I'm conscious of being equal, and I don't want to use too much of that tea because I know how precious it is. So we'll do 3 grams. And we'll do the top-down method. I've got a flute brewer here, which I hope you can see. And I put this on the wrong side of me, didn't I? That's silly. But I can't move it now because it's got charcoal in it. So I'm just gonna, should really smell the dry leaf. I tell you what I'll do, just so we can do that. So I'll put some water here, but it's below the actual rim where the leaves are gonna hit. And I'm gonna just put these leaves in now. So, as I said, it's the original heirloom variety. It's basically everything that I want, except the fact it hasn't been started and finished all in one process in the pan, like that one over there. Let's go into this one, 2025. And I will say, just as a teaser, go online and check this tea out. And if you're watching at the time of release, then there's going to be a chance for you to win some of this tea. I don't know if it's any, I mean, I might actually prefer this tea. I don't know, because I haven't tasted this one properly. Anyway, here we go. So it's savory. It's got like evaporated milk. Yes, it has bamboo, but it's very understated. It's not too green, like bamboo that's been a little bit dried in the sun. So it's not like they've got that green note. It has a little bit of like a cucumber freshness as well, but again, not grassy. Just the sort of the springtime freshness that you want, but it's rounded out with evaporated milk, a little bit of a savory spice like lovage, or yeah, like lovage. It's a bit savory and a bit spicy, and a little bit of custard. The evaporated milk maybe covered that, but you know, a little bit of custard. All right, I'm gonna. Normally, I would just chuck these buds in and brew, but because of the fact that I'm aware that we want to try to do a full tasting of this, I'm going to go through nose dry and nose wet as well. Here we go. I'm filming outside because it's a beautiful day. Oh, nuts. Oh, nuts. Pistachio. Edamame. Those are the two that really immediately, I didn't really show you the leaves, did I? That immediately come to the fore. You can see that the color of these leaves is that beautiful kind of pistachio green yellow color, which is what I'm looking for. I don't like it when it's too bright green. So this is a really good color for me. And they still do look very, very beautiful. That creaminess is there. It's like oatmeal. Yeah, oatmeal. And the savory note is there as well. But we'll just call it like salted pistachios, I guess. Salted pistachios, edamame, oatmeal, and then a slight, that cucumber skin has moved to a little bit more like apple skin. So I'm already making a mess here. You see how gloriously elegant Master Wong Ming was about making his tea. And every time I see this style of brewing, I'm like, why am I not like that? But you know, I think a lot of it is because I'm on video. I'm conscious of the fact that I've got to get stuff done. If it was just me by myself, then you're going to have to take my word for it. I'm a lot more neat about how I brew. In fact, somebody wrote to me recently saying, you know, that they love my videos, but, you know, it's all a bit, there's a lot going on, and it's just like too much information, and the whole beauty of tea is in its kind of quietness. And I fully agree, 100% agree. But like, you know, I've got a limited time, I've got a lot to explain, you know, and even if I don't have a lot to explain and I just want the quiet and the silence, then it's not really set up for a video. I mean, you could see me sit and just drink tea. I could do a little ASMR, twinkle, twinkle, birds in the background with close-ups. You've seen them all, right? The steam rising, looking out, the close-ups. We've done some of them. We have done some of them. And I love them. They're beautiful. They're artistic. But like, I've only got such a limited amount of time to shoot videos. Those videos take a long time to make, believe it or not, because you've got to set up the cameras and do all this stuff, right? And editing, you want to like craft it to music. It's quite a long thing. And so I don't really have time to do that, although I'd love to have more time, but wouldn't we all? This video, the Sichuan video, I don't know how many hours of footage. And I've still got more Sichuan videos to come. It just takes so long, but I hope that you enjoyed it if you watched it. It was a labor of love. I have nothing to sell at the end of it. That's always the thing. It's like, oh, and I made this video and I didn't buy any pan-fired tea. Okay, cool. But hey, it has more purpose than that, as we know. All right. The top-down method, usually I would be sort of leaving it into steep for a while. These buds take time to absorb. Here's another example. If I was doing the silent, or chilled videos, then I would just sit back, just leave it, put a time lapse on. Beautiful, right? I need people around me. It just took me about an hour and a half to set up this session outside. You wouldn't believe what's around me. Like, it looks kind of neat here, but it's just chaos around me. There's like this parasol that's leaning across to try and block out the sun so I don't have, just saying. Videos take work. I don't know how I got onto that. Let's taste, look at the color of that liquor. Look at that. Beautiful. Yellow. Not green, yellow. And not even like, some of them are like a little bit yellow, but still quite green or quite, you can see that it's raw. Texture. Thick, brothy. If I had to mark this astringency out of 1 to 10, it would be a 2. Most Zhu Ye Qings that are fully machine made, which is 90% of them out there, it would be 6, 5 plus, definitely 6, 7, sometimes going up to 10, 9 or 10. Gentle, warm, not trying to hit you with this raw green taste, which I think a lot of people associate with Zhu Ye Qing and think that that's sort of like what it should taste like. Well, I guess that's up for debate. Some producers would say, no, that's what the market wants, that's what we make. Or that's what people are demanding, they want that very green taste. But when you know the tradition and you know it wasn't meant to be like that, then I think it starts to at least steer you to go, well, let me try the other stuff. All right, taste, here we go. Lots of those custards. Evaporated milk. Hazelnut milk, almond milk, soya milk. It's in the nut milk zone. Fruits are there. Dragon fruit. Custard apple. The longan spiciness is there as well, but it's sort of moved into see, if I say the word arugula or rocket, you can think green. Forget the green, like, ugh, and just focus on that little pepperiness. So it's got none of the sour, it's got no acidity, it's got none of that grassiness or fresh herbaceousness. It's just a little bit of that pepperiness peeking out. Cooked rice. Smooth, round, beautifully balanced. Green is there, but again, I put it in the sweetness like sugar snap peas. Yes, there's a bit of bamboo, but the bamboo is again warm in nature. Astringency now is maybe 3, 3.5. Of course, we all want astringency in tea. A tea without astringency is lonely, but it needs to be controlled. Anything like 8 or 9, 7, 8, 9, which a lot of these Zhu Ye Qings are, it's just too much. It's just too raw, and that comes from the fact that they are just trying to preserve the greenness of it. And to be honest with you, it's easier for them, you know. Throw it through the machines at low temperature. Not to say it's not hard work, but it's easier. All right, so I'm having one infusion of this, and then we're moving on to that one, and maybe we'll do a bit of back-to-back, depending if time allows, but I doubt it. Time moves very, very quickly when you're shooting videos. Ooh. Brewing dry style, so I just messed up again. Honey. Mango, but dried mango. You see? The fruits, the creams, the greens, they're all beautifully balanced. They're all soft, and they're all in this brothy, smooth, thick liquor. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Zhu Ye Qing. The best we found this season. And I don't know how much the last step of pan frying contributed. What I can't taste is like the wok, but I know it's smoothed out and rounded out, and I can see by the color of these buds as well that it is more of a finished tea. Right, here we go. I am obviously very excited about this. I have not touched this tea for a couple of months. Let's take a look. Very, very different. Smaller buds, more uneven. And this is where I start to freak out because I'm using so much. But if you get an expensive tea, I did 3, right? If you get an expensive tea, the worst thing you can do is not enjoy it. By like just taking a little bit because you're too scared to use it all. False economy. But I understand that that's sort of in the mind. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because I want to test this one out. I'm going to take this water, which is definitely hotter than 80 degrees, which is what I would normally suggest, and I'm going to brew it up and just let it sit, because I want to prove to myself that this is a really well-made tea. Taste is amazing. But this is going to be the true test. That's leaving it for a long time in hot water. All right, here we go. Let's get this specialty in here. Master Wong Ming. What a character. What a character. I'm so used to meeting kind of mavericks on my travels and I'm pretty good, I think, although, you know, everyone thinks they're good at these things, at teasing out the sort of the boasting or the bravado or the ego. And clearly the guy has been given so many accolades, and clearly he's got so much skill. I mean, I think that that's obvious. And clearly he's dedicated to this, you know, to resurrecting pan-fired traditional Hermé tea. But also clearly, you know, there's a lot of investment. That garden cost a lot of money. There's a lot of, you know, of a business acumen. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. That's not a criticism, but it's always, you've got to be on guard. Go, well, you know, how much of this is marketing? How much of this is the story? How much of it is really in his heart, in his soul? And I tell you, from having multiple discussions with him, and I wish I could have filmed them all, it wasn't just seeing him, it wasn't just like seeing him do the pan frying, it wasn't just seeing him serve, because a lot of people can get into character, right? But when you see him, the way he talks, the way he moves, his whole air was one of confidence, verging on, I was going to say the word arrogance, but it's not. Like super confidence, right? But at the same time, there was a childlike soul to him, which I loved. And he was talking about like his love affair with tea, and he was talking about We had discussions about the metaphysics of tea. He said the most important tea is, you know, there's science, there's art, but metaphysics is the key factor. For him, it's just, tea brings all of these elements, science, art, spirit, into one. And he is so involved in that whole school, that lineage of tea. And I know that that comes deep from him. You saw videos of him like collecting tea at moonlight because he wanted to taste what the tea tasted like when picked at night time. And he was talking about like the connection, you know, how he set up the garden, connecting it with nature. And, you know, he brings in all aspects of geometry and feng shui, and, you know, and I know a lot of people go, oh, that's a lot woolly, but it's what it at least says, because I don't think it is, but if you're going to take that approach, what it at least says is his intention is so deeply into achieving a revelatory tea that respects nature and respects tradition. And I have to say, I have a lot of admiration for him. Anyway, instead of me being a little fanboy, let me taste his tea, because at the end of the day, if it ain't good, it ain't good. And I will tell you. Totally different smell. More burnt sugars, cooked sugars, caramel, candy floss, caramelized nuts. So the pistachios have been caramelized. There's a little fresh note that's popping through. I will throw it under nashi pears. So it's a kind of an interesting contrast. You've got nashi pears, and then you've got the candied nuts, and then you've got beautiful orchid. And that was something that I really tasted in his garden. Beautiful orchid notes. Beautiful smell. All right, let's give him a rinse. Coming alive after that beautiful performance, which took 40 minutes. I tried to cut it down. I know it was still probably about 8 minutes, but like there was so much I cut out that I was like, when I went to film school, the rule was like, you've got to like take the shots that you love and don't hang on to them. You've got to just leave them on the editing room floor. If it doesn't work with the flow, you have to do that. There's so many beautiful shots. And I feel like I've got to go through and take them all again, put them on Instagram, but I don't have the time. Okay, reminds me more of Dragon Well, that nuttiness. It's got roasted bean note, but it's also got that chicken soup, chicken broth note in there as well. A little bit of chestnut. But then the chestnut and the chicken soup moves into jasmine and orchid. I mean, it really is more reminiscent of those pan-fried teas like green coil, bilochan, and longjing. And this is the traditional tea. The traditional tea is like those. And isn't that weird? Like, because when people... Oh, I realize that that's really ugly, but this is the problem with these side pours, is that it's not set up for left-handers. What was I saying? Can't remember. I realized that, you know, a lot of people associate Zhu Ye Qing with being very different from those pan-fried traditional teas from the East. But, you know, they're not. And anyway, you've seen in the video how my thoughts on it. Look at the way they move. Look at how small they are. Normally, you know, Zhu Ye Qing is all about fat, plump buds. No. You know, it's sort of interesting, like these markers that are sort of advertised, it's almost like fairly safe to say focus on the opposite. Oh, it's got to be really big, fat, plump, bald green buds. No, it's got to be smaller, not so green, not so uniform, a little bit mottled, slightly hairy, yellowish buds. You know? All right. Color of the liquor, slightly cloudier. That's because of the hairs. Slightly cloudier, Similar color. Similar color. Let's look at it in the actual cup. Wrong cup. You know what? I would say it actually looks a little bit more green, bizarrely, than that one. Like for like, texture. Here we go. These moments don't come around that often, so even though you're shooting a video, Don, mental note, enjoy this tea. Here we go. Different texture. Not as thick and brothy. Medium start, but then moves in this wonderful little transition into very juicy. More, it's going to sound weird, but more bright, high aromatics are present. Not bitterness, not astringency, not rawness. Astringency level, about the same, 3. Taste very different. Vaporous in the mouth. Orchids. Those nashi pears have turned to just creamy pears. Boiled candy sweets. Flavor. Honey. Touch of orange. Moving complexity. More complexity. Edamame coming through. Pistachio coming through. Just more candied. Reminiscent a little bit of sovereign bud. But more dancing. Little rubber note coming through, which I always have to caveat by saying, not a negative note. A little bit of a rubber, like a razor rubber note coming through. But like sweet. Sugared almonds. Zingy, like juicy pepperiness, similar to this, but just a bit more on the front of my tongue in terms of that arugula pepperiness. And where this tea stands out is in its vaporous finish. It's like it leaves my mouth feeling very excited but comfortable. And pure. Sweet, very sweet. It is beautiful. Beautiful tea. However, is it 50 to 100 times better than this tea? There is not a single person on the planet that could hand on heart say that this tea is 50 to 100 times better than this. And we're talking about price point difference here, right? This is about $1 per gram. This one here, I didn't ask the price. But I did look around. Well, I didn't ask the price of this specific one. Obviously, I spoke to him about pricing. And I know that it would be around that order difference. And so this is it. Like, you know, I was in Sichuan going, I want to bring back some pan-fried green tea. Like, was my mission. But then everywhere I was like, that's the price? No, I can't. I just can't. And I know there will be people out there that would buy it. I could probably get 500 grams and like whatever and sell it. But like, I can't. Like, for me, it's like, no, it's not. You can't justify that. You can justify it from a logistical point of view, like, yeah, because it's only 0.1% of production. But like from an experiential point of view, but it is great. I mean, it is a very, very, very precious tea. And I'm going to keep a few more brews of it. But I do think that this is a tea that other people should experience. And so I am going to give some of it away rather than sell it at $100 a gram. I'm going to give some of it away. Go to visit this tea. I'll put a link in the description below. And you'll see how you can potentially win some of this tea. Right, now let's taste them back to back. Bear in mind, this has been sitting for, I don't know, 8 minutes in hot, hot water. So I expect this to be very, very, very strong. But let's see. Yeah, beautiful. A new note came out. What was that? What is that? What is that? Raspberry candy? Raspberry and peach candy. Astringency 4 or 5. Quality Zhu Ye Qing. And truthfully, a steal at the price point that it's at. I was actually very surprised when I found out the price of this one. I have to say, I was a bit of like after all of the sort of like head in hands going, what, the price, and then doing blind tasting and going, I want that one, what's the price? And then finding it out and just going, yes. Those are the wins. Beautiful, beautiful tea. So well done, not raw, so well done. So much lovely, misty mountain flavor in it. Vanilla raspberry candies. Wow. It's great when you steep it a long time. None of that bamboo note is gone. It's just now this sort of sugary sweetness from hard candies. Compare that to this one. Different teas, just different teas. And really, that should probably be the takeaway here. See them as different teas. This style of tea is different from Zhu Ye Qing. But Zhu Ye Qing needs to grow up and needs to stop being so concerned about looks and focus on making a finished tea, a rounded tea, a rich tea. Then go for it. Make your Zhu Ye Qing. Don't have to pan fry everything, but increase the temperatures. Use the pan-fired, half-handmade pan-fired technique. Develop that. Don't just rest on your laurels because you've trademarked the name and you're just knocking out loads of stuff. I've tasted some expensive Zhu Ye Qings and they're all green and not there, but And then this, let's call it something else. Let's just call it something else. You come up with the name. Just like Minister Chen Yi in 1964, was it? Who came up with the name bamboo leaf green and that changed everything. Let's do it. Let's come up with the name for this tea. Handmade, pan-fired, Ermei or Leshan green tea. Let's give it a name. And then I'll send that back to China and go, look, just create a different name. And let's see what we can do. Precious. But I know it won't keep for longer than a few years, so I'm not going to hold on to it like a little golem. Going to be given away. That's it, tea heads. Check out other videos, taste our teas, wherever you are in the world. And come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the glorious stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.